the other day, or maybe it was, what's today? What is today? Saturday?
Sunday, the 10th.
Sunday? Where am I? What's my name? Where am I? Who are you guys? Wait, I know you. Yeah, the other day, I think it was, maybe it was Friday. There was a big thunderstorm and it was just pouring down. I'm just like, oh, it's so nice. I like to open the back door and just like smell it. It just smells, so good. And then I was just enjoying it. And then I was comforting one of our cats who's scared of it. The others are like, get really hyper and like, they're like, yeah, party. And then she's like, meh, like crawling. And so I'm comforting her. And then all of a sudden, I had been having such a normal day. I'm like journaling, taking care of myself. Like I'm just going into that flow, like allowing myself to slow down. And then I just felt this heavy, deep, like overwhelming to the gut sense of loneliness. Like, whew, it just came in out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh my God, so I'm just like sitting there with this loneliness in my gut, like, where did you come from? Like out of the blue. I don't know. It was just so strange. And here it is thundering, storming, and I'm just like lonely, lonely. And it's just like, what's this? And it did end up coming into me sharing that I was feeling lonely with somebody that I'm close to. And it spiraled into a series of events that helped us get closer. Not at first, not at first, not at first. At first I felt like ignored and like shunned. And then the next day it got us closer because I was able to say, hey, I was feeling this and I didn't feel like you could meet me and what's going on with you, that kind of thing. It ended up in a series of good events, positive, closer, enhancing events. But I don't know, maybe I was supposed to feel it. Maybe it wasn't mine. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Has that ever happened to you guys? Where you just have a feeling out of the blue, like you're going some way and then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
I'm sure I have, but what's more in my brain is just a couple days ago, I was back in Brene Brown's book where she defines like 87 different emotions. And I was listening to her talk about loneliness. And she described it as the glue that creates human connection. And as soon as you said like loneliness, I'm like, well, that's not you, clearly, because you're good, like you're stable within, like you said, like I'm taking care of myself, I'm my energy, I'm smelling the rain, like this is great. But look what it did. It's like an intuitive hit that I don't think you were the lonely one. I think the other person was desperately in need of somebody proactively reaching into their space because they were not going to do it themselves. They weren't going to fix their own loneliness. And you, being the amazing soul that you are, you felt it for like half a second. You're like, well, this isn't going to be okay. So here, let me go fix this. Let me reach out, because that's what loneliness is for. When loneliness becomes too much, you reach out and you connect, and that's how you soothe it. And so you did reach out to yourself. Sounds like you connected back with yourself. You reached out to somebody else. It's the glue that creates human connection, loneliness. That piece feels, there you go. Yeah. So good. Because the turned into, like, yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. And then you started telling it. I'm like, see, yes. Oh, yeah.
If we follow the trail, like it's just like so interesting following the trail and having the courage to take the step, because there was a time where I would have been like, oh, this is just me, and like I wouldn't have taken action on it. There was a time where I've become more courageous and more courageous with very uncomfortable feelings and very like vulnerable feelings. That's it. Brene Brown, the queen of vulnerability research. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It takes courage to follow that trail and just sit with the name of the emotion rather than like, it's so easy for us to get caught up in the cause, external causes, which there are in at times, but just being like, oh God, I'm feeling lonely, or I'm feeling ashamed, or I'm feeling super angry. And then not having to, like, our mind automatically is like, you did it. Like, it's just automatic. You, or this situation, or that. It's like, nope, it's right here. It's just right here if we can just sit with it. Yeah, that did end up leading to a positive outcome. But there's many times where I felt that feeling and it didn't lead to a positive outcome because my mind was like, this and this and this and this, you know. It's easy to be there.
Totally. And that's really like, one, emotions are messages, and this is what we mean. This is what this means is like you get a download of loneliness. It's like, fuck, I don't want that. It's like, yes, you do, because what you want in the bigger picture, in the bigger, grander scheme of things, is heart to heart connection. And this is offering you that. Maybe it's a bitter pill to swallow, but you're going to get exactly what you wanted, which was a closer connection with a soul, whoever, whatever the situation is. But yeah, emotions are messages. It's so true. And the part where we, I think, trip ourselves up, I know I did, was like, you make it mean all kinds of things, or you download loneliness and it sets off a script. It's like one of those little, like, where the ball just drops through like the little obstacle course and it like triggers the little wheel and it turns this. And yeah, it's like that. It's like loneliness comes in and it hits the button perfectly that says, I don't have anybody that cares. Nobody cares to hear from me, like on and on and on. Like, it sets off your script for why you're lonely in the first place, which is just us like making meaning out of the emotion instead of seeing like, what is the emotion? Like, it's neutral, it's guidance, it's pushing you on your path one way or the other. Like, the moment was now to connect with this person, and you downloaded the message and the guidance took you there, and it was perfect. It was brilliant, like divine timing. But if we make it mean something about us and who we are, then we're ashamed of ourselves, and then we can't admit that this is going on. I can't admit I'm lonely because then everybody will know everybody fucking hates me. That's why I'm lonely, because I don't have any friends. So you feel like you're admitting to more than what's really happening, when it's like, I'm lonely. I think I do need to make some new friends. I need to, or reach out to my existing friends, or I need to put myself out there a little bit more. Like, that's why I started my meetup group way back when, was loneliness. And that's how I met Maddie over a year later, I think. Maybe not quite.
My therapist recommended that I go on Meetup to like seek connection, because that's what I was struggling with, was that I felt lonely and I felt alone and like I didn't connect with people. And that's why I went on Meetup, was looking for people who I did connect with. And I found Carly's group, and the rest is history. So that's kind of why.
Awesome. Loneliness, man. It's awesome. See, join the party. Find some friends.
Join the party. We're at the hour mark, just FYI.
Oh my gosh.
How'd that happen? We could go for like, I'm sure the next day.
Yeah.
Easily.
Like, if we ever went on a little retreat or something, like, we would have to have just like airtight boundaries, because you would just sit there and talk to each other for 48 hours.
We'd be like, I'm so tired. I'm a zombie, but I can keep going.
I know. That's like so
what body?